Thank you so much. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for joining us here today. I'd like to start with the roll call.
Michael Covington.
Present.
Crystal Gibson. Rusty Goddard. Stephen Goodpaster.
Here.
Mr. Hilliard. Miss Oakrode.
Here.
Miss Rando Smelser. Miss Stafford.
Here.
Mr. Wood.
Here.
Miss Durrett.
Here.
Mr. Kennedy.
Here.
And Mr. Stennett.
And would Crystal Gibson please give the devotional? Yes. There
Does
you
that
go.
work?
That's
Oh.
perfect.
My voice carries, so I never ever need a mic. So I wanted to start by saying 1 Corinthians 13:13 from the New International Version. In that verse from the Bible, it says, "And now these things remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of all is love." I'm kind of piggybacking off of Courtney from our last meeting in February where she talked about love and Valentine's Day. And Paul's point here in speaking to the Corinthian in the church is that essentially faith, hope, and love are united. And what happens to one happens to all. And what happens if you look deeper into that chapter and you do the translation, and it basically says that faith, hope, and love, they remain and they endure. And love conquers all. Now, I give you that verse to give you the rest of the story. I don't remember when it was when I came across the starfish story, but I had to make my notes just to make sure I didn't mess it up because it's such a good story and it's always stuck with me and it reminds me as I go through life. It just one of those things that just keeps coming back. So I thought I would share it with you. If you haven't heard it, some of you probably have. So a brief synopsis of the starfish story is that an older man, he goes for a walk on the beach after a big storm has passed. And on this particular day, it's because of the storm, the beach was absolutely littered with starfish. And from a distance, the man spotted a little boy. The boy seemed to be picking up something, and he was throwing it back into the sea. The man could see that he was doing something over and over and over again, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what exactly he was doing. But when the little boy got close enough, the man asked, "What are you doing, son?" The boy replied, "I'm throwing the starfish back in the ocean. If I leave them here, they will die." So the old man laughed and kind of mocked the little boy, and he replied, "There's thousands and thousands of starfish on the beach. You're not making much of a difference, and you're not going to do much good." Well, the little boy knelt down. He picked up another starfish, and he threw it back into the sea. He smiled as he turned to the old man, and he said, "But I made a difference to that one." So basically, I love that story. And as a kid, like I said, it's always stuck with me. And you know, when you're young and growing up, you think you can just conquer all, but you really can't because you grow up and you realize, well, life happens and the world is not that great of a place. But I give you that story in my devotion because I wanted to just, remind us and anybody listen or whatever, but if we cling to faith, hope, and love, and because love conquers all, we can make a difference. And we might not be able to change the world, and we might not be able to throw every single starfish back into the sea. But if we take just a moment and pause and have an impact on one, then that's all we can do. So,
Thank you for that. Lovely. And then Courtney for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise and face our nation's flag. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
I'd like to move forward with the adoption of the agenda.
Ask if there's any additions or
Are there any additions?
hear a motion.
Can I hear a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
The agenda is adopted.
The agenda is adopted. Same thing with the approval of
On
minutes.
the approval of the minutes, ask if they've all gone out to everybody. Are there any additions or deletions or changes that need to be made?
Okay. If everybody has reviewed the minutes, does anybody have anything to add to the minutes? Any changes?
entertain a motion.
I'd like to motion
Is there a motion to?
to approve.
I move to accept the minutes
And
from the
second.
last meeting.
And a second, okay.
In favor?
And all in favor? Aye. All right,
Okay,
so moved.
there is no,
And there's no old business
no new business.
and no new business.
Has anybody got anything to say?
Does anybody have anything to say?
Oh, I do. I have to correct that.
Yeah.
I just did, I gave Kurt the credit that it was part of it.
There's the inspiration. Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no new business, I think we are adjourned for the day.
Well, our
Nope,
next
we are
meeting.
not. Okay, our next meeting is Wednesday, August 14th in the main assembly room at 8:30 in the morning.
Now we can adjourn.
And now we can adjourn. Thank you, everyone, for being here today.
All right.
You got to use